Have you ever woken up feeling a bit stiffer than usual, your joints creaking as you try to get moving, or maybe you've noticed your energy dipping more than it used to? I learned this the hard way watching my grandmother struggle with joint pain and fatigue, even though she followed every healthy diet rule in the book. It broke my heart, and it set me on a mission to figure out what was going wrong. What I found changed everything I thought I knew about nutrition for folks over 60. Stay until the end because the final vegetable I reveal will shock you. It's in almost every senior's kitchen right now, and it's silently destroying your energy levels. Hidden truth. Listen, I need to be honest with you about something the medical establishment doesn't want you to know. For the past 30 years, we've been told that all vegetables are good for us. That we should eat our greens. Fill our plates with colorful produce. But here's what they're not telling you. Your body at 60, 70, 80 years old processes food completely differently than it did when you were 30. The vegetables that once nourished you might now be working against you. First up is tomatoes. I know, it's hard to believe, tomatoes are everywhere. Your spaghetti sauce, your salads, your soups. But here's what I learned after digging into this. Tomatoes are part of the nightshade family, and they contain compounds called solanine and glycoalkaloids. When you're younger, your liver handles these like a champ, flushing them out no problem. But as we age, that detox process slows down, and those compounds can build up in your joints, sparking inflammation that shows up as stiffness, pain, or trouble moving. I started noticing this with my grandmother. She loved her tomato soup, but her arthritis always seemed worse the next day. I thought it was a coincidence until I tracked it. Tomatoes are also highly acidic, and that's a bigger deal for seniors because our bodies struggle to balance acid levels. To neutralize that acid, your body pulls calcium from your bones and magnesium from your muscles, literally weakening you over time. It's like your tomato salad is borrowing strength from your skeleton. After my grandmother passed, her doctor mentioned that many of his arthritis patients ate a lot of tomatoes, but he never told them to stop because the research isn't definitive. Well, I say the pattern is clear if you pay attention. Try cutting back on tomatoes for a week, skip the pasta sauce, hold the tomato on your sandwich, and see if your joints feel lighter. It was a game changer for my friend Joe, who swore his morning stiffness eased up after ditching his daily marinara. Next, let's talk about raw spinach. This one hit me hard because spinach has this glowing reputation, like it's the key to health and strength. But for folks over 60, raw spinach can be trouble because it's loaded with oxalates, natural compounds that form crystals in your body. In younger years, your kidneys clear these out easily, but as we age, that process slows, and those crystals can settle in your joints, causing pain and inflammation, or even form kidney stones. Worse, oxalates bind to calcium and iron, blocking your body from absorbing those nutrients you need for strong bones and energy. What's sneaky about this is that the symptoms, joint pain, fatigue, brain fog, feel like normal aging. You might be eating your spinach salad thinking you're doing great, while it's quietly draining you. I tested this with a group of 12 seniors in my community. I asked them to skip raw spinach for 6 weeks, and 11 of them felt less joint pain and more energy. The one who didn't? He admitted he kept sneaking spinach into his smoothies. That's not a lab study, but it's real life, and it made me rethink my own salads. If you love spinach, try cooking it. Cooking lowers oxalates significantly, making it easier on your body. I switched to steamed spinach with a little olive oil, and I swear I feel less achy in the mornings. We've kicked things off with tomatoes and raw spinach, two foods that might be aging you faster than you realize. But don't worry, we've got more to cover, including a surprising vegetable that's in so many dishes and some amazing alternatives that can turn things around. Let's keep going. Alright, we've started with tomatoes and raw spinach, two vegetables that might be quietly stealing your energy and making your joints ache. It's tough to hear that foods we've been told are healthy could be working against us, but the good news is, once you know, you can make choices that help you feel better. Now, let's dive into the third vegetable you might want to rethink, and then I'll share the first of 3 amazing foods that can actually heal your body and boost your vitality. These are simple swaps that can make a big difference, and I've got stories and tips to make it easy. The third vegetable to watch out for is bell peppers, those bright red, yellow, and orange ones that look so vibrant in your stir-fries and salads. They seem like the poster child for healthy eating, packed with antioxidants, right? But for folks over 60, bell peppers can be a problem for a couple of reasons. Like tomatoes, they're part of the nightshade family, which means they have those inflammatory alkaloids that can build up in your joints as your liver's detox ability slows down. That alone can make your arthritis flare or leave you feeling stiffer than you should. But there's more. Bell peppers consistently show up on the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen list of produce with the highest pesticide levels. When you're younger, your body might handle those toxins better, but as we age, our liver struggles, and those pesticides can pile up in fatty tissues, including your brain. That's linked to brain fog, hormone issues, and even more inflammation. Even organic bell peppers have a downside. They're high in lectins, proteins that can irritate an aging gut, which gets more permeable over time. The result? Bloating, discomfort, and inflammation that shows up as joint pain or fatigue. I saw this firsthand with my neighbor, Miss Clara, who was 82 and ate bell peppers almost every day, sliced in her salads, tossed in her stir-fries. She was always complaining about bloating and stiff joints, even though she was so careful about her diet. I suggested she try cutting out bell peppers for a few weeks, and the change was incredible. Within 3 weeks, her digestion settled down, and she was moving more easily, even taking longer walks with her dog. If you love bell peppers, consider swapping them for something gentler, like zucchini, in your recipes. It's a small change that might make your days feel lighter. Now, let's flip the script and talk about a food that's like a gift to your aging body, ginger root. I know it's technically a root, but we're counting it as a vegetable because it's one of the most powerful tools for seniors. Ginger is a superstar at fighting inflammation, and unlike the vegetables we've talked about, it gets more beneficial as you age. It fires up your digestion, boosts circulation, and has compounds called gingerols that tackle the low-grade inflammation that makes joints ache and energy lag. Even better, studies show ginger can help repair cartilage, not just mask pain like some medications do, it's actually healing the damage. Ginger also helps with circulation, which is huge because as we age, less blood flow means fewer nutrients and oxygen reach your joints and muscles. Ginger warms you from the inside, getting things moving again. I started adding ginger to my routine after seeing how much it helped my friend Tom, who was struggling with knee pain. He began sipping ginger tea every evening, and within a month, he was back to gardening without wincing. I like to slice a 1/4-inch piece of fresh ginger root, skip the powdered stuff, and steep it in hot water for a cozy tea. You can also grate it into soups or blend it into a smoothie. Start small, because ginger's potent, but even a little goes a long way to easing pain and boosting your spark. We've covered the last of the vegetables to avoid, bell peppers, and introduced ginger, a true healer for your joints and energy. But there are 2 more foods coming up that can transform how you feel, and they're just as easy to add to your life. Let's keep this conversation going. We've tackled the 3 vegetables, tomatoes, raw spinach, and bell peppers, that might be quietly aging you faster, and we've started turning things around with ginger, a powerhouse for your joints and circulation. It's amazing how much control we have over how we feel just by rethinking what's on our plate. Now, let's dive into 2 more foods that can lift your energy, ease your aches, and help you live with more vitality. After that, I'll wrap up with why this matters and how you can start making these changes today. Let's keep this going. The next healing food is sweet potatoes, and this one might change how you think about carbs. I know a lot of us have been told to cut back on carbohydrates to manage blood sugar or weight, but for seniors, going too low on carbs can leave your brain and muscles starving. Sweet potatoes are different. They give you complex carbs that release energy slowly, keeping you steady all day. Your brain relies on glucose to stay sharp, and without enough, you might feel foggy or forgetful. I noticed this with my aunt, who was always tired and scatterbrained on a low-carb diet. When she added sweet potatoes back, her energy and focus came roaring back. Sweet potatoes are also packed with beta-carotene, which turns into vitamin A to support your eyes, immune system, and skin, things that often weaken with age. Plus, they've got potassium to keep your heart healthy and prevent those annoying muscle cramps. Here's the best part. Cooking sweet potatoes actually makes their nutrients more available to your aging digestive system, unlike many vegetables that lose value when heated. I love roasting a whole sweet potato with the skin on. It's where a lot of the fiber and nutrients hide. Eat it warm to help digestion and circulation, maybe with a pat of butter for flavor. A small portion with dinner can keep you energized without spiking your blood sugar. My neighbor Sam started this, and he swears he's got more pep for his evening walks now. Finally, let's talk about fermented cabbage. Think sauerkraut or kimchi. I know raw cabbage can be tough on senior stomachs, but fermentation changes everything. It pre-digests the cabbage, making it gentle, and loads it with probiotics that rebuild your gut's good bacteria. As we age, our gut bacteria decline, leading to bloating, weaker immunity, and even mood swings. Fermented cabbage fights back, balancing your gut and cutting inflammation throughout your body. There's a growing link between gut health and joint health. When your gut's happy, your joints often feel better too. Fermented cabbage is also rich in vitamin K2, which makes sure calcium goes to your bones instead of clogging your arteries. That's huge for preventing osteoporosis and heart issues. I started adding a tablespoon of sauerkraut to my meals after learning about this, and my digestion's never been smoother. Look for refrigerated, naturally fermented sauerkraut with live cultures, not the pasteurized stuff, or try making your own for pennies. Start with a small amount, like a tablespoon a day, and work up as your gut adjusts. My friend Linda, who's 78, added kimchi to her diet and says her joint pain's down and she's sleeping better. It's like a little miracle in a jar. Now, let's bring it all together. We've learned that tomatoes, raw spinach, and bell peppers might be fueling inflammation and fatigue because your body doesn't handle them like it used to. But ginger, sweet potatoes, and fermented cabbage are like allies, reducing pain, boosting energy, and supporting your whole system. You don't have to overhaul your diet overnight, just start small. Maybe skip tomatoes for a week and sip some ginger tea. I began with sauerkraut, and it led to less bloating and more spring in my step. This isn't just about food, it's about taking back control of how you age. You deserve to wake up feeling rested, move without pain, and have the energy to enjoy life, whether that's playing with grandkids or picking up a hobby you love. The best part? These changes are affordable, ginger and sweet potatoes are cheap, and a batch of homemade sauerkraut lasts weeks. They can even save you money by cutting down on doctor visits and pills. I want to hear from you. What's one change you're ready to try? Drop it in the comments, like I'm cutting out spinach or ginger teas next for me. And tell me where you're watching from. It's so great to connect with you all. If this video gave you a new way to think about aging, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips to live your best life after 60. You're part of a community here, folks who believe growing older doesn't mean slowing down. Thanks for joining me today. Here's to moving easier, feeling stronger, and aging on your terms. See you next time.